Ele reiniciou, filha da puta. E agora?
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again.
Nunca mais sairia de lá. Mas agora voltou mesmo, né? O que vai mudar agora? Que abalo, mano. Quebramos o narrador. Eu contente.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you. You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Caralho. Dois.
Yes,
Tem
you see,
dois
isn't
em
this far
tudo.
superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory.
Mano, tem dois no quadro, velho. Porra.
An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why there are so many possibilities? It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
O cara... Ô, porra, aí tá rico, hein? Caralho.
Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catch.
Caralho, mané, ele colocou a TV de quadro e não aumentou a porra da imagem, velho. Isso daqui é muito bom. Isso daqui é muito bom. Caralho, velho. Fala com a gente, ó, tudo bom? Porra, isso daqui é muito bom, mané. Que crime do caralho. Mano, ele colocou a imagem e não ampliou, velho. Caralho, isso daqui é muito bom. Duas portas. Tá. Aqui um arquivozão, né? Mostrando os conteúdos.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley
é um
Parable 2 is
periquito, eu
going to
vi.
be, but let's take a look at some of the
Acho que é um
features I've been
periquito.
developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
É um periquito. Não fale comigo depois de eu ter uma sequela? É um periquito mesmo. Eu contente. Calma, que abre?
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features. For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked
Me
myself,
baseei na seguinte
what do
pergunta: que os
players
jogadores
really
realmente
want? And of course, the first and
Primeira
most
coisa
obvious
óbvia, a
answer is
resposta.
that they want to be
Eles querem
individually recognized
reconhecidos.
and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim.
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Ficou puto que abalo, tá? A gente já foi pra esquerda aqui.
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here.
E se eu tivesse Jim no nome da Steam? O que será que dava? Decoração de escritório. Balde reconfortante da Stanley. Balde? No screenshot. Botão que diz seu nome e o nome do jogador que está jogando. Camisa.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Buraco?
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, Stepney it is.
Que crime, só tinha balão azul.
Or actually,
Mudou as
maybe I should
imagens
have gone
tudo.
with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on. Come now, you've already made your choice. It's true that you chose badly, but we all have to move on from our mistakes.
Superar os erros que abalo. Porra, brincadeira.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Free New Easy Achievement. Dança do futuro. FaceTime. É que parece o bagulho da expansão do universo, né? Que da hora. Ó. Isso aqui seria tipo motor perpétuo? Caralho. Isso aqui eu não sei não. Um túnel na Terra, parece?
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a
Fala com a
hole
gente.
that you
Tudo
can
bom, John?
fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do
Cara, não
say
sei
so.
como é que explica esse
Now,
jogo não,
since
mano.
you've
Só
gotten to see
jogando.
the infinite
É um jogo
hole,
muito
you
bom.
can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top and we can continue onward. Great! Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other fascinating exhibits that I've prepared for you. I really spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and
Parece que
press
não é tão
that
infinito
teleport button
assim.
again, so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing,
Meu
Stanley.
mug.
I'll be honest with you. I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole
Vamos
long
ficar no
enough
buraco
to
tempo
hit the
suficiente pra
bottom.
chegar no
Yes, I know. I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall forever?
Quem
The hole
realmente vai
was
ficar
plenty
caindo
deep.
no
It was
buraco
more
era
than
bem
deep enough,
profundo, na
in
minha
my
opinião.
opinion. Maybe it's you who likes falling too much. Maybe you're the problem.
Talvez você é o
The
problema.
things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we
Que
just put
crime.
all this behind us and agree to just call the whole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole. Oh, for heaven! You see, I was right.
O problema
is
é
you.
você.
The problem is that you like holes too much. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there, goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a
Você
weird
tem um
sort
tipo estranho de.
Oh. Did
O
the
buraco
hole seem
pareceu ainda
even
mais
shorter to you
curto.
this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did
Você
before.
passou menos
I mean,
tempo lá do que antes. Eu
admittedly,
admito
I
que não
did
fiz um
make
buraco
an
infinito.
infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not
Porque você tá
infinite.
com
Well, I
balde.
suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide
Ah,
you've
cara,
had
tem
enough
coisa
of
que não
the
dá pra
hole,
explicar,
you can
não.
hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite.
Entendeu o que tá acontecendo? A gente tá subindo o buraco toda vez que a gente cai.
Infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Olha lá, ele quer que eu volte, olha lá.
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
O botão não está funcionando?
Teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean,
Parar o jogo
I really
no
don't have an
começo? Como assim?
explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley.
Mas foi um final aquilo, né? Tipo, foi 2 finais aquilo lá. Agora eu não sei quantos mais finais eu fiz, né? Olha lá, o buraco tá descendo agora. Acabou o jogo? Ele tá tocando a música, mano. Não, o jogo não é isso não, mas tem nada a ver. Por isso que eu tô rindo, porque o jogo não tem nada a ver com isso, entendeu? O jogo não tem nada a ver com isso. O jogo não tem nada a ver com isso, mano. Gostei. Mano.
Stanley! Oh,
Hello.
good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Nossa, filha da puta. Ele reiniciou o jogo?
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Tô lá em cima, eu acho, né? E o coisa aqui tá fechado agora, a gente tava aberto, parece.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Ouvimos seus clamores.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Posição que ainda não vimos.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Meu Deus.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Aqui é a saída?
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now? So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Caralho.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in.
Isso daqui é o início
Though
do
he'd
jogo,
been
né?
paid exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it no? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Vamos seguir ali então pra ver onde é que vai dar.
Whee! Stanley? Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and
Viciado em drogas e prostitutas.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Caralho, explodiu tudo.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Vai começar.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Tanto medo.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Será que eu apertei a
These
água,
are
depois que eu
precious
apertei ali?
additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're
Por que o tempo
powerless.
voltou
To
ali?
see you made humble.
Eu não entendi.
This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Explodiu todo. E agora? Voltamos do início? Caralho. O balde
All of
sumiu.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Não, tá aqui.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Não tem um negócio de novo, né? Quer ter. Já tá
Here's
tudo
the
aberto.
door, just go. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this...
Vamos ver o que vai dar agora. Acho que vai dar a mesma coisa de antes ali, né? Que termina no final. Será que eu tô repetindo o jogo? Só mudou, tipo... Parece, né?
Blackness. And a rising chill
Eu
of
tô repetindo o jogo,
uncertainty.
só mudou... Sei lá, que agora tem um balão e o balde. Acho que só isso, né?
He had won. He had
E
defeated
agora,
the
o que eu
machine.
faço? Acabou?
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had
acho que
been
agora
seeking,
acabou esse pá, né?
but happiness.
Porque...
Perhaps his goal had not been
É
to
o mesmo lugar.
understand,
Porque na salinha ali,
no
né,
longer would
falava
anyone
que
tell him where to go,
o...
what to do.
Os jogadores no primeiro game demoravam...
Whatever life he lives,
não descobriam
it will be
que
his.
você tinha que dar ESC e
That
sair
was
do
all
jogo,
he
né?
needed to know. It was
Será,
perhaps
mano?
the only thing worth knowing.
que
Stanley
falta pra gente
stepped
agora?
through the open door.
Agora eu não sei.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Caralho, pior que é, né? Eu acho que aqui GG. Ó. Primeiro, o covarde. Que tal começar com algo simples, tão realmente simples, iniciando o jogo na sala de Stanley. Antes de seguir, clique na porta para que ela feche e fique lá dentro para perder o tempo, perder o tempo explorando. Mano, isso daqui tá aí um bagulho que eu não tentei, né? Me fechar aqui dentro.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure.
Verdade,
What if he had to
ó.
make a decision? What if
Isso
a
eu não tinha
crucial
tentado
outcome fell under
fazer.
his responsibility? He had never
É
been
verdade,
trained
o
for
final do
that.
narrador a gente fez,
This couldn't go
explosão a
anywhere
gente
except
fez,
badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself,
museu
is to wait.
a gente fez,
Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy
cápsula de escape.
forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told
Uma
what to
passagem
do.
nova.
Now it's just a little bit closer.
Esse final estranho,
even
mas ainda
closer.
assim é um final. Siga
Here
as
it
instruções anteriores até chegar na sala do chefe. Espere Passe pela porta de madeira dupla, mas volte para trás rapidamente, de forma que elas se fechem com você do lado de fora, no escritório. Agora siga todo o caminho de volta até a sala de Stanley. Porra, isso daqui dá pra gente fazer, né? Vamos lá.
All of his co-workers
Será
were
que
gone.
dá tempo?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Tipo, eu acho que não tem... Agora é meio que isso, né? Ficar procurando os finais que a gente não fez. Tudo meio que é um final, né? Toda vez que reseta o jogo parece que é um final. Mas voltar até a sala dele, vai estar aberta as coisas, será? Ih, tá estranho isso daqui, hein? Será que vai dar pra voltar até a sala
Stanley
dele?
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vamos ver. Ih, caralho, ficou diferentão aqui.
Here's the door.
Ó. Ah lá, ó, abriu tudo, verdade, dá mesmo, ó. E o narrador ficou por lá daí, né? Caralho. Que mentira, mané. Caralho, esse daqui eu não... Eu já tinha tentado fazer algo parecido antes, né? Mas não tinha dado certo, porque a porta só fechava depois que eu passava muito por ela. Ali em cima eu não pensei nisso. Calma, tinha outro caminho aqui? Não. Ah lá, tem mesmo, aqui do lado, ó. Só saiu, tipo... É a loucura ou o final da Mirella. A gente fez... Confusão do narrador, a gente fez... Ah, calma, aqui tem um negócio, calma aí. Muito poderoso, pés leves. Esses dois finais são praticamente um só, diferenciando-se apenas um detalhe. Para alcançá-los, use a porta da direita, aquele que a gente pula, né? Vamos ver se rapidamente para trás, no modo ela vai embora e você fique. Calma aí, como é que é? Ignore a plataforma e as placas de segurança e se jogue da barreira. Isso aqui eu fiz. Mas aí é o mesmo. Esse daqui, apartamento, a gente fez. Atenda a ligação e depois obedeça as instruções. Bom, eu desliguei o telefone, né? Paz ou final da porta vermelha, se eu fiz. Jogos ou final da porta azul. Eu fiz um parecido, mas eu não peguei essa porra do Minecraft não. Eu peguei um outro, né? Um grande painel para avaliar. Com nota de 1 a 5. Qualquer botão que você escolher serve. Eles apenas provocarão a reação momentânea diferente do narrador. Mais uma vez você será levado à sala das agora 3 portas. Escolha qualquer uma e avalie sua experiência. O narrador irá mostrar seu novo jogo, no qual é preciso impedir que um bebê perca no jogo para ser levado à nova fase baseada no Minecraft. No caso a gente foi para outro jogo, né? Esse daqui eu não fiz, quebrando o puzzle do portal. Esse aqui está mais para um pseudo final. Vamos fazer um puzzle para mostrar que os desenvolvedores pensaram em tudo. Arte ou final do resgate do bebê. Esse final é insano. Se você conseguir daqueles que você desiste e vai assistir no YouTube. 16 ou 17 fugindo pela janela. Que mais parece um bug do jogo, mas está lá. Esqueça a sala das 2 portas. Antes de chegar nela, você passou por diversas vezes por uma grande janela. Fica um pouco depois do seu escritório. Estamos falando mais precisamente da janela ao lado da mesa 434. Fique se jogando contra a cadeira dessa mesa até ficar em cima dela. E então suba no monitor do computador. Agora você precisará agachar Nesse momento, porra, mas aí é foda, né? Esse daqui foi o que não deu pra mim terminar. Paraíso ao final dos computadores. Um pouco mais escondido. Do lado de fora da sala do chefe, no computador de Stanley no final. O final do quadro branco. Porra, já tem muito mais final, velho. O final sério. A sala séria. É realmente séria. Não é possível alcançá-la dentro do jogo. Na verdade, é preciso acessar as propriedades do jogo na Steam antes mesmo de iniciá-lo. Porra, mas aí é foda, né? Tipo, tem coisa aqui que realmente a gente não ia descobrir nunca, sendo honesto. Mas eu acho que o principal ali a gente fez, né? Que tipo, foi explorar pra caralho. Não tem muito mais coisa não. Acho que eu não vou correr atrás dos outros finais ali. Porque não é algo muito lógico de se fazer, né? É algo mais tipo... Como é que fala? A gente vai ter que ficar vendo como é que faz o final. Igual aquele da janela ali, porra. Tem que subir em cima da mesa. E o caralho. Mas achei da hora. Falar que o jogo não é bom, mentiu. Porra, agora como é que eu saio daqui? Eu acho que eu travei. 4, 7, 5, 7. Eu acho que eu tô no mesmo lugar. Não tô? Ah não, tô não. 7, 5, 8. Porra, mas aí, mentira. 7, 5, 9. Ah, aqui tá diferente. E aí, é isso? GG, né? Bom, galera, é isso, mano. Eu não vou ficar fazendo os outros finais, igual eu disse, porque...
All of his co-workers were gone.
Mano, é
What
coisa
could
que a
it
gente
mean?
vai ter que ficar
Stanley decided to go to the
lendo e
meeting room.
procurando. Tipo, não é um
Perhaps he had
bagulho
simply
lógico,
missed a
tá
memo.
ligado? Não é um bagulho tão lógico. Aquele da senha eu tava pra fazer, né? Só que o da senha ele mudou e eu não achei
No
mais.
matter
Tipo, ali
how
tava
hard
falando que
Stanley
tava
looked, he couldn't find a
no...
trace of his co-workers.
na secretária do cara, só que não tava, porque eu cheguei lá em cima, que ela teve uma hora que eu cheguei lá em cima e eu olhei o computador dela e não tava lá, nem no computador do cara, então tipo, mas tá bom, né? Deu pra gente fazer bastante final até. Coloca aí o que? Uns 10 pra mais finais, eu acho que eu fiz fácil, né? Colocar esses dois agora também, GG. Tá bom, tá não?